Welcome, beautiful people. Welcome. Welcome to celebrating the I Am Divine Feminine. Today, what I want to share with you is a secret that I've discovered about manifesting. And not only manifesting for you, but possibly manifesting for the good of all. Possibly manifesting for the good of all. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of people in the world who manifest a lot of things that are not for the good of all. I mean, wow, we look around and there's a lot of using resources to gather and garner more resources, more power, power over. So, okay, so that's what how this world is at this moment. It's just how it is. Is it in alignment with the divine? Not really. Could those many of the world's resources be used for the good of all? Yes. So, what do we hope and pray is that somehow, day by day, we contribute to shifting this field, this field that holds us all together to the balance of the masculine and feminine. And some of these qualities that we're engaging in here in our talks about the I am feminine, that somehow as you and I engage in these processes throughout our time space week, in between our times, that we're inserting into the quantum these vibrations, these waveforms, that in effect, these waveforms that in effect shift the entire quantum. Now that's hard to believe, right? I'm reading a lot about quantum physics right now and the field. Great book. If you want to take a stab at it, the book The Field by Lynn McTaggart. She did so much research, and she's a journalist, and she worked so hard to get it to where we could take a bite of it and begin to understand pieces of it. But really, all these beautiful, beautiful beings, these physicists, did the work for us, did the thinking. And really, they've come up with this absolutely gorgeous unified field. And you could call it 0-point field. It's a matrix. If we think a thought, it can reach the farthest reaches of what we call the cosmos. It's all united in a form, in a format. It's just quite extraordinary. So this is where we're working. We're putting physics and spirituality and feminine all together into one beautiful, juicy, delicious shift in the way that we are in the world. Okay, so when you take that in, we're actually contributing to those gorgeous galaxies that we see pictured here, especially when we engage in an I am. So I shared with some of you who were with me last week that change is afoot in my office, and the situation needed to change. Yeah, it needed to change. And so the card that I picked was Praying Mantis, engage in prayer and surrender. Because, of course, here's our beautiful little alien being, the praying mantis. So praying is intending, but praying, it indicates that you're putting forth your intention to a higher power. Now, the problem with this sometimes is that we separate ourselves from that higher or deeper or God power. We say, you are almighty. I'm just this little being down here. That has problems. It really does, because it creates separation. We have a programming here that we're separated and separate from this magnificent, don't even know. I don't even have words for it. Whatever it is that creates either the quantum field or is the quantum field of consciousness. And I've started to share with you that physicists are starting to go, I wonder if that quantum field is consciousness. It's starting to come together. So I looked at this card and okay, part 2, surrender. Oh, surrender is hard for the ego. You have to have one thing in your field to actually really surrender. I want you to think about it. What is it? It's trust. Now, trust, we can look at trust 3 ways and call it a noun. That person has trust. You can use it as a verb. I'm trusting you. Or you can use it as a declaration. I am trust. And there are 3 different things. Now, sweet story. Monday, when we pulled this card, I wasn't there yet. I wasn't at trust. I was contemplating surrender. And I was understanding somehow that I had to have patience in this situation. And I will say, truthfully, that I was losing sleep, serious sleep over this situation for various reasons. The end of my day on Tuesday, this man, he's not young, he just long-term friend, he comes in and we're kind of working through things. And one of us said, well, I think he said, well, I guess I'm just going to have to trust that I am going to get better. And then it hit me. I said, you are trust. Say it. I am trust. And I spelled it out for him with the capital A and capital M. And we said it together. So I ended my day with, oh, I am trust. Wow. Didn't sleep that night very well. However, I'm going to tell you how quickly things turned around. I was guided to put an ad in to Indeed. And I gave explicit instructions, don't put my name in, because I didn't want my front office person to see it. And of course they did. Now, there's 2 sides to this. There's 2 little juicy tidbits to this of why the universe went, you know what? Let us take care of this for you, okay? So-and-so my name. A long-term friend. Needs work. Lives 3 minutes away. Gracious. I had a strong feeling that she would also work with the other doctor. So we're texting back and forth. I actually had shut down the computer, and something told me just to go open it up and do something. And there was her text on my computer. So I texted her back and I said, I got to talk to the other doctor. So, and I'm texting the other doctor, and we we actually were able to come up with the time for him and her and myself where we could meet the next day. This is Wednesday. So mind you now, I came up with I trust Tuesday afternoon. By Tuesday evening, things were moving. So we had the interview. Now, the other thing that happened is the person who's working with also saw that ad. And of course wanted to talk to me in the middle of the day. And you know what I did? I didn't make her wrong. What I said is, we're expanding the position and it won't work for you to work for the other doctor as well. You need a full-time job. You need to go find a full-time job. And she accepted that gracefully. We'll see how that goes. But I continue to say I trust. And what came out of this was I could have treated this situation very harshly because of some things that she had done over and over again. I could have been that boss that's, gets a feeling of, if I get to fire somebody. No. I am trust. So it takes surrender to say that, doesn't it? Okay, I surrender. I trust, right? You can say I trust. I surrender. I trust is kind of together. But then you go that step up and you go, I am trust. And what you do is you unite with the I am, the oneness, with your heart. So that you move as a waveform through all those little ego blips. And I'm going to tell you, there were blips those last 2 days. There were blips, and I just watched them and I didn't judge it. I just go, we're moving in the right direction. And so on Thursday, I handed this person an honest letter that said the qualities that I felt like she had, and gave her a hug. And then, then here's what happens. And I'm going to tell you. Part 2. First of all, when you have a situation that requires surrender, that requires trust, and I am trust, it means that you're holding on to something. I didn't realize how much I was holding on. I was trying to make it okay for this person while trying to make it okay for the patients, and it wasn't okay for me. I had to let that go. I had to let it go. I had to let it go. I had to de-stress. I actually felt sad. I had to feel the sadness. Then I had to feel the stress. That's really normal. So when you declare something, I am love, I am trust. And if that's not so in your field, the ego will graciously offer up to you those held in feelings. But you got to recognize it. You got to go, and you got to shake, or you got to cry, or you're like, oh, why did why did I go so long? Whatever it is, or what, you gotta let that come up in a way that doesn't affect your environment. You gotta let it come up. You gotta let it come up. You gotta let it come up. Take a breath in. And then you have to find a way to be rooster. Remember laughter and joy. The best thing to do when something's been stuck is to, for a long time, is to contradict it with something that's an affirmation that's positive, a memory that's positive. Now you'll see that I'm getting these really beautiful fireworks behind me. I'm not sure how that's happening, but I'm very grateful. There were fireworks there. But I'm going to tell you, the next day, which was a Friday, which is a day off, I was laughing after I released, and then something would come up, and then I would laugh. So, what a beautiful and appropriate card that I picked to go along with this whole process. So, I'm going to say it again. Things are like this, and they've been like that for a long time. You find either an affirmation, I'm moving through this challenge with ease and grace. You see, that's capital I, small a, small m, and a verb. I'm learning how to trust the universe. That's a process, right? I am learning. It creates a process because sometimes just to jump right into your declaration feels like way too much. Or to say in a situation, oh yeah, I trust. I surrender, I trust. Well, it has to be authentic because I know special beings. There have been moments in your life where you trusted someone and they pulled one over on you. And that's happened to me. They pulled one over on you. You surrendered, you trusted, they pulled one over on you. And so we're a little like cautious and maybe a little bit more as women, right? There's a vulnerability there. There's a vulnerability. That vulnerability is another pathway to another divine feminine I am. And that is, I am innocence. Now, at our age, that's a little, seems a little far away. I am innocence. It's just like, what? What do you mean? So the universe decided this week to send me I am innocence in the form of a 2.5-year-old. And oh my golly, this young lady came in with her mama a couple of weeks ago. And she was like, well, I want to come. And so I, to see Dr. Girard. And so I put her on the table. And I worked on her for a minute because that's all we had. And she went home and she said, no, Mama, I want treatment. And I got a piece of paper and she laid on the couch. And then she says, no, I want to go. I want to have my own time. This is a 2.5-year-old. So she comes in and she sits very quietly and she has a mask on. We said, you can take that off. She goes, nope, no. You're wearing a mask. You're wearing a mask. I'm going to wear a mask. I'm like, okay. So she's sitting in a chair. She's such a cool boy. I think this 2.5-year-old was looking at the clock because I eased a little bit into her time because her mom needed a little extra. And she's kind of looking at me. I said, okay, it's your turn next. And I said, do you still want to wear the mask? I said, okay, that's fine. And so the main thing she wanted was that face paper, the way she could lay face down face paper, because that meant she was getting a real treatment. So, so we finished. Of course, her mom said, now say thank you. And she said, thank you very much. And she started to leave. And I said, well, do you want me to, take you down the hall? Nope, I can do it myself. And I said, well, let me ask you this. Do you want a face paper to take home? I do. So I took a face paper and I folded it up. She's like, no. And she unfolded it because she didn't want it wrinkled. So here she was in pure innocence and trust as a way of being. And what happened? My heart went. Because when you trust and you get the lesson, when you step into I am trust and you see manifestations, you see, when you see these little miracles, then you know you pulled off the I, capital A, capital M. Because from what I can tell, that's our pathway. That's our pathway to this other state of the quantum that includes fifth dimensional qualities, blessed holiness, absolute flowing love, absolute presence. These are all aspects of 5D consciousness that is available to us. Yes, especially when we meditate in our beautiful group of 8. Thank you. But here's the deal. It goes beyond that, beautiful beings. I think you know that there's something more and that you're doing your best to sign up for that. And even by taking time on your Monday morning. Oh, I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta get there. Because when you say, I, capital A, capital M, trust, by saying that and getting that, even if it's for a split second, you're bridging through to that 5D I am reality. And it actually goes beyond that, but that's a bridge to getting that here. You become this bridge. And my example is this. What if you walk into, we'll say, Whole Foods, and there's a lot of people in there, they're just trying to get the shopping done, and they're, they're like, they're like that. And you feel that, and okay, you go for, there's that energy. And what if 8 of us walked into Whole Foods and we were just in our I am? Maybe we were all in the same I am. Maybe we were all in a different one. We walked to the Whole Foods and we just moved around and just kept focusing. I am trust. I am innocence. I am power. I am creative force. What if? I'm going to tell you something. The whole vibe would change. The whole vibe. If you had 10 or 20 or 30 or 40, people be like, oh my God, I went to Whole Foods today. It was so different today. People feel it. And so I don't always remember. I don't do a lot of shopping, but I do a lot of smiling. Gracious smiling, especially at the people who work there. I be the love. I be the I am. I don't think it, I be it. Because I can feel when I do that, A, feels fantastic. B, they share things with me that are darling sometimes. But I can also feel something vibratory shifting, just that much. Like that. And then what you get out of it, when you can really, really, really be the I am trust, you get I am love. You get that as a gift. And you get to be the I am love, and then you get love. And they're kind of two different things. Because one is kind of emotional and visceral and yummy. And the I am love is huge. It's a force. Feel it. Feel it rising up through you right now. And nod. You see, to me, when I nod, it does two things. It's a yes. Nodding is a yes. We've made it a yes. It's a cultural yes. I think in India it's like this, but here it's yes. But it also takes your cranium and does this, and it loosens up that tightness, the base of the spine, and it lets the energy, lets the chi, lets the kundalini, lets whatever, lets it flow up into the higher centers. Yeah. Yes. Yes. And it can be a very subtle nod, just this. Mhm.